Hi, my name is Nate, and today we'll be installing the WD Electronic Street Legal Kit. The reason why I chose this kit is because the sequential lights with the Fang lights together looks really good. It has the natural turn signal switch that ever since we started driving from day one, that we've been using that instead of a rocker switch. It has in-dash indicators. It looks really good, so let's just jump into it. Alright, first we need to remove the hood, set it out of the way, and then there's the T40 torque screw, and I have a bit that will remove several of these screws here, and we're going to take off the entire front because my hands are too big to get back in there, and I just found it to be a little bit easier. So this one in here. Okay, like I said, we just need to remove the front bumper here and this top panel along with this plate here, if your razor has that. I have a push pin tool that will just reach down in there and pop this pin right off.
That comes with the razor?
This does not come with the razor, but there is a pair of pliers that's in your tool bag that comes with the razor that it does have the same push pin removal on it. Anyway, this stuff here is basic. I'm sure you guys know how to remove these pieces here. So again, we just need to remove this piece here, this cover here, which it just pops off once you remove those T40 screws. So we got to finish removing these screws so we can take this entire front bumper off. And then we're going to remove this cover here. This is a T20 for these two screws here. And then you need to put the T40 back in and finish removing these two screws. And then once you remove this, you have to undo the Fang lights and the headlights. Just little clips here. That's simple. You got two on each side. Okay. And then we're going to set this down. And I suggest to lay it on something soft because you don't want to scratch this front piece. Now, as you can see, we already did it on this side, put the Fangs in. And this is the factory Fang light. So if you do not have Fang lights, then you will have a plastic piece. It is the same difference. And you take your 12 millimeter and unscrew these screws here. and pull the factory light out or the plastic piece that's there. And all you have to do is replace it with the WD light. And screw the screws back in. Okay, now that we removed the front bumper and installed our Fang lights, simple, okay? Now we take the T20 again and back off these screws here, because this is where we insert the sequential lights, and we're gonna have to pinch it. So we back it off a little bit. We take the sequential light, and right there's a groove on both sides. That's where we're gonna try to pinch it at. So take it through here, and you want the wires facing the inside. Run it up in here, and see how that sits right there? And then we're gonna push it up in there a little bit. So we're going to start by tightening that side right there. Never over tighten, but you want it definitely snug. Now we'll adjust this corner here. Just make sure it's right in that groove there. So now that we got that in there, we're going to tighten this screw here. Snug, but never over tighten. And then this top one here. There. And that looks good. Actually, I'm going to adjust this one here. And I hope you guys got the kit that comes with both, because it looks really good together. There, that's how I like it, right there. All right, so that's it for that part. So now we're going to take the control box and a 10mm and undo these screws here. The one on the left is the alternate power wire, so it'll come on when you turn the key on. And the middle is the negative. Now you can mount this control box anywhere. I like this big spot right here. Now this is for your Fang and sequential lights. This is for your back harness. And this is for your turn signal indicator. And this will be for your horn. Okay? So we're going to put that here for now. And we're going to go ahead and, like I said, the red on the left. Now these screws are the only screws that, when I say never over tighten, you definitely want to tighten these down really, really tight. Make it really snug. This wire here is for your turn signal, which I got the kit that has the hazard lights. I like the way that looks. Okay. Now it's time for the instrument clusters. This is what give you green arrows in the dash, but not all razors are compatible with this, with the green arrows. But WD gives you blinkers that they take an account for. So if your model is not compatible, let me show you what those indicators do. Okay, if your model is not compatible with these, with the green arrows, WD still provides you something, which is really, really nice. Now, if your model is compatible, mine's a Razor Turbo S, it is compatible. So what you want to do is remove this down here, pull it straight out, and then we'll take our tweezers. We're going to push in on this white clip here and start to lift up at the same time. And the same with this side. And that'll pop this piece off. Then we open it up. Okay, and we want to remove the 6 and 7 blue pins there. The 6 and 7. And all you have to do is take your tweezers and pull them straight out. Now we take this adapter and we insert the red into 6. And we insert the red and black into 7. And all you have to do is just push it straight up. And once you do that, you push it straight up. Until your pins pop out of the top, and you want to try to push them up in there until they're even. You'll hear it click, or until it's even. There. Just like that. Try to make them all even. Then we want to put this cover back on it. Straight down until it clicks. And then we want to make this our wire go along with the razor wire and then clip this back. There you go. And then we insert it straight back in. You want to try to do it evenly. There. Now we plug this up. Like that. Then we're going to come around here and show the green arrows inside the dash. But like I said, the green arrows are not compatible with all models, but WD takes in account for that. They provide something, which is really nice. Okay, now we need to get these two wires here. And this is going to be your switch. These go to your Fangs. And whenever, I'm sorry, these go to your Sequential lights. So you'll have this black box. And if you later find out that they're crisscrossed, you just switch them around. Sequential light. Okay, and now these go for your Fang lights. And the yellow wire goes in there. and vice versa. And like I said, these two wires will go into your Y connector right here. That's your Y connector. It doesn't matter which one it goes into. They both supply power. Now, I'm going to show you guys a little trick. Okay, now that we have the Y connector in this first, the one all the way to the left, looking at the WD symbol, it's the one all the way to the left. The Y connector goes in there if you purchase the combo kit. If you didn't, you don't need the Y connector, and only one of these will go in there. So here's the sequential, and here's for the Fangs. Now, let me show you guys something. I'm going to, instead of using the, and you guys may want to do this too. So let's just temporarily mount the bumper back. I am not using WD's power for this side, and I'm going to show you guys why in a second. I'm using the factory power switch, or the power harness, and here's why. Okay, on the left, the factory harness that originally went to the original Fangs, and this is WD's on the right. Okay, I'm not using, you can use either one. Here's your preference. Okay, so here's what happens when you use WD's and you turn the switch off. It turns the light off immediately. The factory, there's a time delay on it, as you see there. I like the time delay. The tail lights in the back with the license plate will be on the time delay. I like that look. So I'm going to use the factory, the original factory power for that light, as you see there. So now let's turn it back on, and let's see how it looks in the front. There's your left. And that's why you guys got to get the combo kit. That looks really good right there. And there's the right. Now here's a step that I just temporarily plugged the turn signal harness in there. I have the hazard light switch that goes in between the two. So let's look at that real quick. This is your hazard light switch, and all you have to do is undo the one that goes to the control box, plug it in here, and this one goes to the turn signal switch that mounts to the, so right here is your turn signal switch that mounts right here to your steering column. And never over tighten these screws here. So as you see, we push down, and the left will the left will be going, and we flip up in the right. So now here's your hazard switch. See that? Okay. Now we need to plug this, and this is your turn signal cluster switch that we installed earlier. We plug that into this one here and try to get it in straight as possible and flip the right way. And let me show you what that does. Around this side. And as you see, the turn signals in the cluster there will now be working right here. And this is for the other side. And now let me show you what the hazard switch does. Right here in the cluster, it does both. Okay. So now we're going to turn the key off and run the rest of it. Okay, this is the horn switch. So you plug the connectors onto the horn like that. and this will go into the blue on the control box like this. So now that we did that, and plug the blue into the horn switch, plug these wires onto the horn, and now you'll have a horn. Power has to be on, of course. But we're going to remove this screw right here, the T40 again, and we're going to mount the horn onto that switch right here. We're going to put this bracket in between the plastic and the mount. And I like it a little bit out of the way there, so I'll push it forward, and there we go. Okay, we're going to take this harness and hook it to the factory harness in the back. So we're going to unplug it here, and I'm going to show you guys a picture on where this goes.
Okay, on your harness, you'll see letters. The red wire will go to letter B, input. Input is towards the front, the harness that's towards the front. The black wire goes into B, output. That's the harness connector that goes towards the back. The white goes into C, output. Again, that's towards the back. And the gray wire go towards C, the letter C, and that's towards the input, that's towards the front. And you'll see these letters on the harness itself.
This last one will go to the third brake light because Polaris ran the third brake light to the left light. So if you don't use this switch and you have a third brake light, if you do not have a third brake light, you do not need this switch, this harness. So if you do have a third brake light, you need this so you can bypass the blinking effect that it does to the left turn signal. So plug this in here. Plug that into there. Okay. And we'll remove the third brake light harness. Okay, now that I plugged the harness into the third brake light, I'm going to take this wire and run it into this last input here. And this is for the license plate. I already ran the license plate and just run the wire up around. This is a plug and play license plate. And we just put this right into the white bracket there. And that's it. And we run this underneath and all the way through. I'm not going to show you how to run exactly everything. Your razor might be a little different. But this goes into the last spot all the way to the right. And there you go. That's all it takes. And now you should have turn signals in the back. So we'll go ahead and turn the key forward. And the license plate is lit. It's LED. And now we have turn signals on the left and turn signal on the right. All right. And as you see, there's a delay like in the front now, since we're using the factory power. There's a delay just like in the front now, so it's in sync.